Shout out to Taku Ruki for being a Patreon supporter. You rock. What's up, chums? Sharky here. Today we're going to be talking about Furcon panel etiquette. Some of you who have never been to a Furcon might be asking, what is a panel? Furcons typically have these breakout rooms. I guess you could call them a presentation that is put on by people that are attending the con that signed up to present something for the con. And these panels range from how to make a fursuit to quantum physics. There's so much variety in the type of panels that you can have. Furcons are not the only conventions that have panels. Comic cons, anime conventions, gaming expos, like all of those types of conventions can also have panels because it provides attendees with stuff to do. What we're going to be talking about today is how should you act? How much should you interact? So first, let's talk about tips for panelists. I have been to quite a lot of panels in the last 3 conventions that I've gone to, and I think the biggest thing is that you need to know what topic you want to talk about. Remember how I said that panels can be about anything? I've been to panels in the past where it was so unorganized and not really well thought out that they didn't really know what they wanted to talk about. I didn't really find myself that involved or entertained. So you really need to organize how you want your panel to run in a way that keeps people engaged. So for example, meet and greet panels are often very unorganized, or at least the ones that I have been to. Usually it's just a bunch of people meet in a room. Literally all they did was talk and do a group photo, and that was pretty much it. If you're going to have people meet in a room for an hour, I feel like they could have maybe included how to boost your following, what to post and what not to post, and things that do well and things that don't. A lot of these meet and greets were like social media based. A lot of the people running it had somewhat of a following, so I feel like a more informational type panel would have been helpful. So the next tip going off of that is to have a topic or theme that you know a lot about. Anytime that you're giving a presentation, you always want to pick a topic that you're passionate about and you know a lot about for an entire hour that you have people in the room. You should also make sure that it's something that people would actually want to hear about and want to see. The next tip is be prepared and try to do a test run at home if you can, or do a test run at the con if you can, because that is super helpful to know what to expect when you go in. Caffeine Fox and I did a YouTube panel a few years ago. He wanted to do a group video with everybody that attended the panel, show them a little about what you need to make a YouTube video, and he forgot his camera. We couldn't do the group video, but just little things like that. Make sure that you are prepared, you have all your equipment that you need, and if you have time and you have the space to do it, try and do a test run of your panel if you can. The next one is interact with your audience. I think what makes panels less like a presentation is that they involve the audience. You don't want it to just be a lecture. You want it to involve the people that are attending, because that makes them feel more engaged and more entertained, like they want to stay in your panel and not leave. I think if you can find ways to involve your audience in what you're doing for your presentation, that would be ideal, whether it be a game or an icebreaker question. But if people are interested in doing something like that, you should definitely try to incorporate that. And the last thing going off of that, I know people have a fear of like public speaking. I would say if you're someone that does, you should definitely practice speaking clearly and loud enough that people can understand you, because I have been to panels where the person is very quiet and they mumble and they're like hiding behind the desk. It's basically like you're giving a presentation, but a little more chill and relaxed. It's not so much pressure because it's just for fun and it's just for entertainment. Definitely work on your public speaking a little bit before you host a panel. So for the next portion of this video, we're going to be talking about the attendees, which is most likely most of you watching this video right now. So the first tip is please be respectful to panelists. They take a lot of time out of their schedule to put a panel together for your entertainment and to make the con more fun. And if you're being disrespectful, that's really inappropriate and rude. If you don't like the panel you're in, they don't make you stay in the room. You can literally leave the room at any time. The next tip is to keep your questions minimal. This ensures that everybody gets a chance to talk, because usually panels have a lot of people and they won't necessarily get to every person, but usually people have questions. And if you're the one asking all the questions, it doesn't really give other people a chance. So just be respectful of other attendees when you're asking your questions. Going off of that, please don't ask a super complex question that requires a complex answer. I've been to panels where someone will ask a really controversial or really long question, and then we waste 15 minutes the panelists trying to answer this person's question. And if we're spending 20 minutes just answering your question, that gets boring. If you have a question like that, you might want to wait until after the panel is over and you have more time with the panelist. So the next one should be an obvious one, but I've heard some stories. Don't be inappropriate or lewd. There are 18 plus panels at cons, but that does not give you an excuse to be disgusting and inappropriate. You're still in a public setting, and you really need to be mindful that not everybody is as comfortable with the same things that you are. So the last thing is mostly for baby furs, diaper furs, puppy players, anyone who is into kinks or fetishes that chooses to wear things related to that at a convention. Even if you are at an 18 plus panel, let's say for example you were at a baby fur panel, you have to remember that you're still in a public setting. So even though it's an 18 plus panel, that doesn't always mean that it's okay to be super open about your fetishes or kinks. Just always be respectful of people's personal space and boundaries. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I just wanted to mention really quick that I've made a lot of updates to my Patreon recently. I'm planning on making a Patreon update video very soon. I've also made some more Halloween treats for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.